Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's check in with the major US indices and another strong day up, which isn't overly surprising. Now, we're well above this D wave extreme, okay, and that was an important level that I wanted to see taken out to add further confidence. It's also just a conventional resistance level as well, obviously, and that's been taken out quite nicely. And if we go to the 1 hour chart here on SPX, you can see off the bottom of wave E, or what I've labeled as wave E anyways, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like a fifth, almost complete. I mean, this is an extended fifth already, and it looks like it's actually rivaling the length of wave 3, if not exceeding it already. But the rule is wave 3 cannot be the shortest, even though it's usually the longest. It doesn't have to be the longest, it just can't be the shortest. And in this case, wave 1 is definitely shorter than what's labeled here as wave 3, and wave 5, because of that, can be as long as it wants to, really. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. Now, if it were to get too extended to the upside, you might have to rethink this labeling as just a 1, 2, 1, 2 of multiple degrees, because, you know, a fifth wave, there's only so far I can go before it's just not proportional anymore. But no sense in splitting hairs right now. This is clearly an impulsive advance, you know, unfolding in a 5-wave structure, any way you look at it, regardless of how you label it. Now, if we come out here a bit, I would suspect that this is just part of a larger one-up, okay, at this point. And when it's complete, I mean, there's no reason to think it's complete yet. It hasn't really started declining at all, anything significant at least. But once it does start declining, you'd likely look for some sort of corrective decline, okay, in a wave 2, right? That's what you'd be looking for, or that's what I'd be looking for a real good entry for potentially a fairly long-term bullish trade. Something like SPY call options, you know, multi-months to expiration, something like that. Or if you just want to take a position in the broader market or certain big individual names, that's probably going to coincide well with a lot of individual names. So if you're looking, I'll just throw the lines on there. I'm looking for at least something like that, and it wouldn't be unusual to come down to this previous fourth wave of 1 lesser degree. That's a typical target area, and certainly if we came down and just tested the upper side of this trend line, you know, this contracting BD trend line, where it once provided resistance, it would act as support for a correction downwards. That would be certainly typical, you know, something like this. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but certainly looking good. There's no question about that. And then obviously you'd be looking for an overall larger 5-wave move up in some sort of 5th wave. Now I have it ending up here, but it would likely go well beyond the wave 3 high that I've labeled there. So it should really, given that this correction lasted multiple months, okay, from basically near the end of January to, well, where do we end here? In May, okay, early May. That indicates that the next impulsive wave to the upside should last, you know, a proportional amount of time. So this isn't going to be something where we're done this up move in a week or two. It should have a lot more lasting power than that, staying power than that. So this should be a good time to be eyeing up bullish trade setups, and not just on the indices, but on individual names as well. Certainly the implications are there for this. All right, well, let's go over the candlestick chart. And I just have a couple trend lines drawn here. So this is the BD trend line of the triangle, same as the other chart. And we're well beyond that now, and that's looking good. And see, we took out that doji star high, and that was a significant resistance level. Also a level that would really negate the bearish scenario, in my opinion. So we're there now. Now bullish appears to be the higher probability outcome, and just more confidence than it was even. But what I have here is a trend line that connects the high to just this peak here, okay, which is the B wave peak of the triangle, and that's just a downward sloping trend line that we're also getting above, okay. So it's just nice to see a couple different, we'll call them resistance lines, get taken out here, trend lines. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we gapped up today, and you know how gaps go. Sometimes they don't get filled, but often the market likes to come down and at least close that gap, which is actually usually a nice trade setup for the trend to resume. Now, if I just zoom in here, we're well above the T line, well, like too far above it. It's probably going to come back and test that T line at some point, and we're actually well above the 3T line. So, and we're getting overbought on my oscillator. So this doesn't mean sell here or short here. It's not what it means at all. It just means that if you are already long in a position, tighten up your stops or be ready to take profits quickly, because it's likely, okay, it's likely that we'll have some sort of corrective pullback sooner than later. And now I would view that, as long as it is a nice corrective looking pullback, I would view that as another great entry opportunity. So keep that in mind. And let's go here, Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay. And the Dow's a little weaker relative to the S&P. It didn't actually take out its equivalent high over here, but it's not so far away from doing that. But I guess just showing you know, the things the Dow represents just aren't quite as strong as the S&P and certainly the NASDAQ. The S&P has a fairly high tech weighting in it, and obviously the NASDAQ has a very high tech weighting in it, and tech's certainly been strong, so that explains the relative weakness of the Dow to the other two. It doesn't mean the Dow is weak, it just means it's the weaker of the three in you know, what can be broadly considered a strong move beginning to the upside here. So not much else to say about the Dow. I would imagine it would have its little pullback with the other ones once it gets going. S&P, or sorry, the NASDAQ composite, clearly the strongest one. I'll just get rid of these Fibonacci levels because I don't think they're important anymore. Now that we're beyond that 618 retracement and that doji star, which was still a good reversal short term to the downside, but now we've taken that out. So NASDAQ looking the strongest of the three. Oscillators overbought though, well above the T line and 3T line. So any point here we could start having a little corrective pullback, and that would just be a great setup once it's mature looking for another entry. So I wouldn't be chasing this mark is what I'm getting at here if you're not already in, but certainly from an analytical point of view, it's looking much better for the bulls, and I would view any corrective looking declines as a great buying opportunity. So with the volatility index, our VIX here, now VIX is quieting right down, and that's exactly what you'd expect when you're beginning another strong leg up in the overall market. So VIX is just confirming or reinforcing the idea that you know, we have a bottom in place in the market, and that we're going to be heading to new highs, in my opinion. All right, so that should wrap it there. Hopefully everyone's week is still going well, and I think just one more day left. Tomorrow's Friday, so we'll check in, if not tomorrow after the close, and sometime on the weekend when I get a chance, and we'll just go over everything. But yeah, this is looking real good. It's nice to see that there's actually some clear direction. It was a difficult, choppy trading environment. Certainly, you can still make money in those choppy times, but it's more difficult, and sometimes it's more frustrating when you have a setup that just doesn't have the follow through that you're looking for. But patience pays off, and here we are. Looks like we're starting a good trend here, so keep that in mind. Serial Trader signing off.